Welcome to the Blooming League of Original Podcasts.
Welcome to the 9th episode of And the EGOT Goes To, a breakdown and predictions podcast for the major US-based award shows. Today, we are finishing our first season where we're discussing the 2023 Tony Awards. I'm your host, Spencer, and with me is our panel.
Hello, I'm Kate Ranking. I am a Theater is Life on TikTok and YouTube, and I love seeing theater.
Hi, I'm Ashley Hufford. I'm Ashley Hufford on Instagram and TikTok. And I also love seeing theater.
Hi, I am JT Tranberg, and I also love seeing theater. I am JT Does NYC on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all the socials.
So the Tony Awards were this Sunday, and we were all together, all four of us. We were at Glass House. It was a ton of fun. I think we all agreed and were very happy about a lot of things. And there were also some things that we were not happy with. But let's start by talking about the awards ceremony itself before we talk about the winners. What did we think of the unscriptedness of it all?
This is probably my favorite Tonys in years, like actually years. Like, I don't need bits. Like, just give me awards, give me longer speeches, give me... Like, it was perfect. I really loved it. I have very few notes when it comes to the actual Tonys. Like, for all the award shows, like, they always try to do bits. And I'm like, I don't need it.
Yeah, I loved the Tonys. I did not miss the writers at all, but pay the writers.
Pay the writers, maybe get some, I mean, I don't mind doing writers doing some like intros, outros, clean up some of that
The one
stuff.
thing that I think I missed was this is their second nomination. Blah, blah, blah. But you can Google that. Like, it's not.
No, but I agree. Like, that is
the
kind of stuff but we can have writers come and do that. And just like, you don't need like funny jokes. Like, I don't need an opening monologue where they like make fun of whatever. And then Lynn raps. Like, I don't need it.
Yeah.
No.
I definitely enjoyed this format. The one thing that I missed was, like, I always as a kid would remember, I'd like try to memorize the presenters like opening speeches, and they're like, and this year's leading actress nominees in a play include a housewife, a fireman's daughter, a woman on the brink of insanity. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and they list all of the characters. That was like one of my favorite things. So I did miss that a tad bit, but that's it.
My favorite part of the night is Ariana DeBose introducing the presenters and being like, and now whoever comes out is who's next.
Yeah, that was great. That was amazing.
And like, you could tell that was a genuine, like, I don't know who's coming.
She had written
next.
notes on her arm and it was like, well, whatever.
But yeah, and the United Palace is a beautiful theater and worked perfectly. Normally Radio City kind of looks empty. And the United Palace is better. Also, the stage size I felt a lot better about. Radio City, if you do not know, has a very large stage, whereas the United Palace has a much more Broadway size stage. So when they do the performances, it didn't look like awkward.
Yeah, it definitely didn't swallow up some of the performances, which was nice.
I loved the little packages that we had about all the shows, of the pre-recorded interviews, of all that. I loved those. I was very perplexed by the Phantom thing until we got to there, but when they had the Phantom package, I was very confused about that. I think we all were.
I was cracking up because I joked about them including Phantom in the In Memoriam, and then they did.
But yeah, what did we think of the performances? So we had all the revivals. So we had Camelot. What did we think of Camelot?
We got two. Camelot did a medley, which I appreciated. Camelot's it's a hard show because the songs aren't like big and splashy and fun. That being said, I'm glad they did Lusty Month of May because Philippa looked incredible. Looked so good.
Yeah.
And then we got
but I will tell you, this is a testament to the lack of Camelot set, is I legitimately could not tell if they were filming it at the palace or if it was pre-recorded. Because I was
it looked exactly like the Beaumont.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I was like, which again is not this is me complaining about the set for Camelot being too small, but like, I could not tell if it was the set or if they were pre-taping or not.
To quote my dad, his favorite thing was Beowulf Borat during his Tony Win speech, being like, the best part is we have no digital screens. It's all painted backdrops. And then for the New York performance, having a digital screen.
I know.
Yeah,
It's so
yeah.
funny. Oh.
But yeah, so we had all of the revivals and all the new musicals, and then Funny Girl and Beautiful Noise. Funny Girl was a performance. It was fine. It was the same performance we've seen from.
Yeah,
Lauren
it was
and
Seen
kind of
Lola.
already at the
boring.
Tonys.
I actually even walked out. Like I didn't even like that was my bathroom break. I didn't watch it. I
Yeah.
didn't think it was worth
Do
it.
they think that's gonna sell tickets to Funny Girl? Like I'm just like, we've seen it 400 times.
They don't need to sell. I don't know
They
why. I think she
do.
just wanted to. Well, yeah.
She's not selling it out anymore. They do need to sell tickets.
But yeah, and then Beautiful Noise gave a performance that I thought was the least energetic Beautiful Noise performance I have seen yet.
Oh, I thought it was fun.
I enjoyed singing with everybody, but I did not. To be
Yes.
fair, I don't think I watched television. Like
I
I wasn't
did
watching
it.
the performance. I was
I
just singing
loved-
Sweet Caroline.
No,
I
the
was
I enjoyed
performance
it.
was hilarious because they're like going down the aisle.
Oh, yes,
and,
they
like
did good.
everybody in the audience was just like, meh.
And then they put the lyrics on screen. Like people
Yes.
don't know the lyrics to Sweet Caroline. I was
Yes.
like, who do you think?
Yeah.
It was great. I did not
Uh,
think the Beautiful Noise performance was the worst performance of the night. So
Oh, I agree with
I
you
don't know.
wholeheartedly.
I thought it was
100%.
entertaining.
My favorite performance of the night was Shucked by far.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, it was my favorite.
The Tonys used to be all about medleys. Because what you do is you do your big ensemble number and then you spotlight your nominees with their solo numbers. Then you go back to the ensemble number. That is, I think, the formula to a good Tony performance. And Shucked
agree
is the only one that did that this year. And I thought that they were the most successful performance-wise in getting ticket buyers, because the amount of texts I got about I want to see Shucked after that performance versus all the other performances. And I know I also want to say this too. It's hard for all of us who we have seen all the shows. The point of these performances is to sell tickets to people who haven't. And
Right.
so it is hard for the four of us to be a litmus test on whether the performances worked or not, because we will buy tickets to things no matter
Better.
what. I mean, like,
Exactly. I feel like Shucked also did a great job with saying, so this is what you're gonna get with this show. The show is funny, the show's campy, the show's about corn. There's gonna be a dance number or two. At the least amount, there'll be some cool choreography. You're gonna get a big number from Alex Newell, and you're gonna have a great time. Period.
Yeah, and I think that the people that like, I've gotten a couple comments when I posted about it being like, I didn't want to see it after that. And I was like, yeah, then you wouldn't like Shucked. Like, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think if you don't like the performance, it's not a show you're going to enjoy.
Right, that's
Which
the
is-
point. Yeah.
Which is like the opposite, because I've had a lot of people talk about the Kimberly Akimbo performance, being
Right.
like, I no longer want to see this show. And I'm like, no, you should. It's
well,
not.
what
it's like,
I've been doing to everyone who has said that is I've then sent them the Tiny Desk, and then they've been like, "Oh, I get it now."
Right. And the thing with
yeah.
I mean, the one thing I'll give him with Anagram is that like if you love that number, you will love Kimberly.
Yes,
Akimbo.
yes.
Like it's the Ring of Keys moment from Fun Home, right? If you love Ring
Yeah.
of Keys, you will go to Fun Home and you will be like, this is the greatest show I've ever seen. I'll see it
But
40 times.
I think Ring of Keys is a good moment on its own.
I agree.
Anagram's not a good moment on its own.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted them. Hot take. I wish they had just pre-taped and done it on their own stage and just ice skated. But
That's what I'm hoping they
Yes.
do for the Thanksgiving Day parade.
yeah,
Is they do one of the CBS pre-taped performances of this.
or
time.
they have to bring, or they bring an ice skating rink and they do a float with an ice skating rink, and
That
then
would
they
be pretty
actually
Please.
ice skate. The
Please.
Rockettes do it every year, baby. They have.
I
those
think the
floats.
Rockettes have a bigger budget.
Probably.
And Juliet, I think.
Do we think they're going to do a Thanksgiving Day
was-
parade? Do you think we'll still be open for Thanksgiving? Sorry, what?
Yes. Yeah.
I
I
was
think it's
having
open
this
till January.
conversation, and I think that that's
Okay.
a conversation to have later too. Is
What, and Juliet?
No.
Well,
And
I
Juliet's
mean-
going to be open forever.
Kimberly Akimbo.
Yeah.
but like
Oh, that's what I thought.
about all these shows is I think the earliest we see Kimberly close is January.
January.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with
agree.
you. At least through the holidays.
I think it
100%.
I
was
think what
saved.
happens
to get
in
that last draw.
October after a year is we either get a new cast or we get a closing notice in October for January.
I kind of feel like at this point, like Victoria Clark is in it till the end. Like I don't see them replacing her.
Has anyone ever
That'll be the movie.
has anyone ever seen her cover go on?
Yes. I mean, I haven't seen her, but she has been on.
I've heard she's great, but she's not like a name. It's not like Victoria Clark, who's like.
Got it. Okay.
I mean, here's the thing: have Audra McDonald do it.
She'd be
I
amazing.
mean, why not? She would be amazing.
She's
She's not-
almost
is
too
she-
young.
She's almost too young. I don't know. It'd be creepier because it's like this super hot woman.
But they can. I mean, I feel like I don't know. I feel like she fills into old age makeup well.
Yeah,
I
that's
do. I
that's
feel like-
fair.
No, you're not wrong.
Yeah, she fills into old age makeup very well.
Angela Bassett.
She's way too young.
Bernadette.
Didn't we say Bernadette before we were
Yeah.
discussing?
Angela Bassett is 10 years older than Audra.
I don't know.
Angela Bassett is 64 years
She
old.
could
I
she could do
know.
the thing.
She, I love it.
I think that's the only way you're playing Victoria Clark. You have to go with a person of color, and that changes the entire dynamic of the show. You keep
Yeah.
the white parents, make it an adopted child of color with this rare aging disease. Whole show has changed.
That is true. The show very can. Maybe I like it more.
But then we want to worry about having another child.
I know, I'm aware.
So then what do we think about our other performances? And Juliet, who I personally think should have done a medley.
I
They
agree.
are the
I agree.
Yeah.
show that,
That was-
that is such a
was a
boring
bad
number
call.
for them.
They did
Yeah, that
they
was
did
a
a
bad call.
medley for Ham, and I thought it was brilliant, and I'm
Yes.
sad they didn't do that at the Tonys.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that performance. I mean, I enjoyed the performance. It was fun. I like when I was in it. It was great.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is so good.
We did get to
And then I-
dance.
Yeah, we did. But I don't think that was. But again, like I said, if Anne Juliet had opened in March, we would have gotten a medley from them.
Maybe.
You know what I'm saying? I think like
Well,
So then
why
what
would that
did
make a
we-
difference?
I feel like because they would have just opened and been trying to do what they need to do to sell tickets.
Got it. I think they probably were like, Betsy was like, I'm not doing anything. And they were like, okay.
Speaking of medley, although she was at the Tony's rehearsal, which is why I was very confused.
Huh.
Speaking of medleys, we had New York perform a medley of their opening. Well, barely. I wouldn't really call it a medley. I'd call it like 8 bars of their opening number and then the title song.
I forget that they even performed because it was such a weird time slot. Like they were right after
That's
the
true.
opening number before
It was like
any
3
awards.
seconds into the show.
Yeah. Like
I will say, I think that it was like a good showcase. Like I think everyone looked beautiful. The costumes looked beautiful. New York was spectacular.
Yeah.
Like Anna sounded amazing. They had that crazy makeout. Everyone was like, are they dating? I was like, no, I think they just kissed in the show. I was
it went on a little too long to just be the
I got a
kiss
lot
from
of
the
texts about it.
show.
People were like, what is that makeout? I was like, I don't know, really romantic. It felt very
It
good
is,
for them. If
it
it's-
is what they do in the show, but like suspiciously long for the Tonys.
Well, and then we had Some Like It Hot, who just literally added their principals into their title number randomly and kind of awkwardly.
Yeah, it was fine. It was what they were gonna do. If the people that want to see something like it hot are gonna really enjoy it, and they'll go see something like it hot.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
what do you mean they did? The leads are in the Some Like It Hot did
Well, like they
the
added it. They
title,
added like a.
and then they did
they added the finale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's what they did in the show.
They just comboed the title and the finale.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we got Parade, who I think Ashley and I were both angry that was the same song they performed.
I mean, here's the thing. Yes and no. My whole thing with that is just that I'm like, what else can they do? All the waste of time, I guess. But like, it's not as exciting. That number is boring and not that out of context. It's just 2 people sitting on the ground singing at each other.
It's so good.
I love it, but you
They
get all of
should
the.
have done Old Red Hills of
You
Home.
can't do Old Red Hills of Home.
They did at the last Tonys.
Yeah, but you can't do that song because they're literally waving Confederate flags and singing all about the glory of the slavery.
They did
Like-
it. So at the last Tonys, they did This Is Not Over Yet into Old Red Hills of Home. And it was just the finale, Old Red Hills of Home, where they
Okay,
just have
okay.
the entire cast come out and sing the finale number.
'Cause
I
that
will say
ensemble cast
I
is
really
so
liked
cool.
Yeah.
I really liked them adding in Max Turnin. I thought that actually
Yes.
added
Yes.
a lot.
I loved it, Max
Yes.
being there.
And I think it is one of the best sung musicals on Broadway this season, which is why I would have liked to hear harmonies
Yeah.
and cast.
Oh, and I mean, I agree that
big.
you've heard that. We've heard that song 16 times. I just think it's a hard show because there's not a lot of big numbers that are not.
I loved how they did the set for that with the box of light for the
Mhm.
performance. I thought that was
Yeah.
really
That was cool.
cool.
It was cool.
And
I-
it implied the sets, but I thought that it looked really nice.
I
and
almost
clean.
liked it better than the actual set.
I 100% agree with you, without a doubt. I just didn't want to be the first person to say it. Sweeney Todd's performance is the one thing so far that has made me want to see Sweeney Todd.
Wow.
Yeah.
If you liked that performance, you'll love Sweeney Todd. I'm not
Yes,
joking.
I was in a production of Sweeney Todd in college, and this like gave me that nostalgia. So now I'm rushing to get my Sweeney Todd ticket.
Is Annalie in that number?
No,
Okay.
it's the opening number of the
Yeah.
show.
She doesn't show up till Worst Pies on
It's
Wednesday.
literally the one song I know from the show.
Yeah. I can't believe you don't know Sweeney Todd. That's wild.
Yeah.
Spencer. You had to go
I
see
forget
Sweeney Todd.
he's a child. We forget he's a child.
Yes.
The children have forgotten Sweeney Todd.
What?
No, it's just like I'm not gonna
No, it's worth every
I-
penny. It's
Is
worth
it?
every
Okay.
single penny.
I'll do it this summer.
Do not pay for cheap seats to see Sweeney Todd. There is a
Okay.
0% zero reason to spend $60 to sit in the back of the mezzanine in that theater. Zero reasons.
I'm going to
Okay.
splurge on orchestra tickets after they announce Jordan's replacement.
What did we think of Into the Woods performance?
Perfect.
It was fun. was
Milky
cute.
Way.
We got Milky.
Yeah, there
So-
was Milky Way. It focused on
Yeah.
their noms, and everyone else is on tour.
Yeah.
So
I got a lot
they
of
did what they could do.
exactly, JT. That is what everyone was like. Why didn't they do the opening number? I said they had 2 shows that day. They flew out one person and one cow, and it was easy.
I'm
Yeah.
so elated that they highlighted Kennedy and Milky Way. Like I thought that
100%.
was
Well,
the
and
best
it worked out
choice.
really well for Kennedy because they don't even have another show in Orlando. So Kennedy just flew from Orlando to New York, did the show, and then is flying to San Francisco from here.
Oh.
So it worked out really well for him.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure he got to go to a few parties too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to
And I
chat with
believe
Kennedy on the
he's-
day of the Tonys. It was very exciting. We did a live and talked about everything that was going on. And he was very fun because you were talking about how he got the job. And it was from James Ortiz just DM'd him and was like, would you be interested in doing this? I'll put your name forward. And he was like, sure. And he's like, so everything I've ever learned from college about my books and what songs to sing and everything, he's like, none of it mattered. I got on Broadway by getting a DM from a friend who offered me a 2-week role in a city center production. And now I'm on tour with it and at the Tony Awards.
And yeah, I thought it was great. We got that memorialized forever. Isn't he also very close with Bonnie?
I think so. They're all like in that same, they're all the same
Yeah.
around the same age. They're all like the not babies Broadway people, like making their,
So let's go ahead and so first of all, have we counted what we've got right? Does anyone?
I
I
did.
got
Hardly
I got
anything.
21.
I got
I got
13.
21. Oh my God.
Look, I
Wait,
had
let me
I
look
had a
it
lot of hopefuls that did not pan out.
You only have like 8, because all of mine.
Yeah, I
were-
got 6 wrong. Sorry, I got 20 out of 26.
Those design awards just
Yeah.
Yes. Well, so let's start. Let's start talking about all of our winners. We'll start with Best Musical. We had Kimberly Akimbo winning for Best Musical. We were all so happy. I'm sure someone has a video of the loudness of that room when that happened.
I got 18. Sorry. I was just
I
kidding.
definitely have it.
Yeah, I posted it.
Oh,
Yeah.
great. Because so I'm so happy. I'm seeing it tonight for the 6th time. For their first performance back.
that's going to be a
I'm-
great performance.
I have decided which week I'm gonna go for my punishment. So I just need to get my tickets.
JT, would you like to explain?
Yes. Oh, MG. Okay. So my I made a bet with TikTok on Ashley's TikTok that if Kimberly Akimbo won Best Musical, I would go see the show from the front row center seat.
JT is not a fan of Kimberly Kimball.
I'm not. I
JT saw it with
for like-
me and enjoyed
I
it
know.
in the moment.
I did. And then I got home and was like, I really don't know if I liked that. And then the longer I thought about it, the more I was like, no, I didn't like that. So I don't know. I'm gonna go now and I'm gonna be great again. I'm gonna love it. But everyone is like, JT, you're wrong. You suck. You're wrong.
No, I mean, here's the thing. I like Kimberly Akimbo. It is not my favorite show of the year, but I like Kimberly Akimbo. So I don't think you have to love Kimberly Akimbo. I know a lot of people that hate Kimberly Akimbo. I was actually told by someone on Saturday, they were like, oh, there's a lot of us. We're just afraid of the internet, was the exact phrase I was told.
I am not afraid of the internet. I have said it loud and proud. I am not, but I'm a man of my word. I'm gonna go see the show again. I'm gonna support the cast because the cast
So good.
work their ass off. I can't say that. They work their asses off. They deserve every nod, every award, everything that they ever get. And so I'm going to support them and I'm going to see if I enjoy this show again. And if not, you don't believe me. TikTok will know.
TikTok will know.
It's just so
And then we
cute.
have our winner for best play. We have Leah Poldstadt.
Speaking of the internet, will
Kate,
know.
would you like to talk?
Look, I'm honestly less mad that it won play than the other awards that it won because we don't have
agree
a
with you.
playwriting award. And I thought Tom Stopper did a fine job. Is it my favorite play of the season? No. Do I think it's the best written play of the season? No. But I'm less mad about the best play win than I am about costumes and direction.
Yes, I was shocked. We were all very, very more so costumes. But we will talk about that later. Ashley, you and I have both mentioned this multiple times. I don't know on the podcast, but I heard you say it, and I had said it at one point too. Next year we have Prayer for the French Republic coming,
My
which
favorite.
does what Leah Poldstadt wants to do, but better and more relevant,
Mhm.
I agree. Time
and with a turntable.
and a great set, a really great set. It was a really great set at that little second stage of the second MTC's New York City Center Theater. I'm imagining a Broadway set's going to be even cooler.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what do we
I-
think about the life of Leopold Stadt? Because it's one of the last play that I haven't seen.
It's a limited run, so it's closing end of the summer.
Yeah.
July 2nd.
Oh, July 2nd. You'll only have a
Closing in
few
2
weeks.
But yeah, it will be interesting to see. I think that we will see Leopoldstadt have a life in colleges, but not high school.
I mean, it is good. There's too many guys. Well, there are a lot of girl characters because they just make everyone girls, so then they can be in high schools forever.
What did we think? We had Parade win for best revival.
I was thrilled. It's all I wanted. I was very happy.
Yeah, Revival could have gone a variety of ways and I wouldn't have been mad. And I think Parade is a, much needed revival.
I mean, I don't think we'll see a Parade revival for a very, very, very long time. Like, I
I
think
hope
this is
not.
like, yeah.
I mean, I love the show, but I feel like
Oh, I do too. But I think this is like our,
we needed it now. And I hope
Right.
that we don't need it in the future.
we're like, I think we're going to get a Sweeney revival every like 10 years. We'll probably get Into the Woods revival every like 10 years. Like,
Yeah.
those are shows that are going to keep coming back and back. Camelot we probably will get again, but we don't necessarily need a Camelot.
No.
Well, and it will be interesting to see if we get this production anywhere else.
Yeah. I am
As-
curious if Parade decides to tour or do like a couple of sit downs.
I could also
I
see it
wouldn't
going
be
to London.
Yeah.
I've heard two things. I've heard a London, and I've also heard a Atlanta, Chicago, LA.
Oh,
I would
do we
love
think
an
Ben wants?
Atlanta
Would they do it with
production.
Ben, or would they do? It
I
with,
think if they did Atlanta, Chicago, LA, they'd do it with Ben.
I just don't know if Ben would want it. Maybe he would. I feel like they've been posting Max a lot, which is why I'm wondering if Ben is not doing it. If that is but only because I feel like suddenly Max is in the Tonys. Max, they've been doing some press around. I see Max
Yeah.
doing interviews.
Yeah.
I would not shock me if they did it and they did it not with Ben.
And I don't think they necessarily need Ben because it won
No.
revival. He didn't win.
And Max is so good.
Yeah.
Good point.
I think it would need. I wouldn't be surprised if Michaela did it.
That's what I mean. I could see
Yeah.
Michaela doing it. I think Ben's moving on to his next thing like already. Like he's
Yeah. And then we had best revival of a play. We had Susan Laurie Park's Top Dog
the
Underdog.
best, maybe my favorite order. Of the
Best
night,
win.
possibly.
Best win.
I mean,
Hell
it
yeah.
was my choice, but I honestly was like, I really hope at this, but I'm thrilled.
That was another
So
one that
thrilled.
could have gone a lot of different ways. And I
Yeah.
wanted Top Dog Underdog, but I was not expecting Top Dog Underdog.
No, exactly.
And then we had our 2 special Tony Awards for Lifetime Achievement in the Theater. We had John Kander and Joel
Perfect.
Grey, whose speeches on the Act 1 portion were great.
Highlights.
Specifically, Joel Grey's was, oh my God.
His little
Um,
singing and then his tribute to his
yeah.
daughter. That was the big one. The number of people who did not know that Jennifer Grey is a Nepo baby. Whew. Big reveal.
How do you not know that?
Yes.
Everyone was shocked. They were like, why is Jennifer Grey doing this? I was like, repeat the name. Like literally I was sitting next to someone and they were like, why is Jennifer Grey doing this? And I was like, just whose name? Who is she opening? They're like, what? And I was like, yes.
And then we had their little kind of weird tribute on the main broadcast with Ariana DeBose and Julianne Hough. Put them in Chicago.
Seriously.
Oh my God. Chicago was salivating. They probably were so excited. They were like, oh my goodness.
That was like one of my main takeaways on my TikTok was cast Ariana DeBose in Chicago.
And then we have Direction of a Musical, which went to Michael Arden.
I was happy. I know other people were
I
not.
was also very happy.
I was
Kate
happy.
not.
I mean, it's not my favorite show of his, but I wanted Michael Arden to have a Tony for forever. So
Yeah. He's just such an interesting, like multi-hyphenate to put it. Like,
yeah.
Well, and if you have not, this goes to all of you and also to all of our listeners, watched the first impression cams on the Tony Awards YouTube channels, which is all the interviews. It's Eric Bergen interviewing all the winners right after they go off stage. And they're like 2-3 minutes, except for Alex Newell's, where it's literally 30 seconds. And then they're like, Alex, you need to change because you're performing next. But yeah, so those have been pretty great. And those are all on the Tony Awards YouTube channel, including Jason Zembuk Young, our hero, is on
Amazing.
there.
The best.
What an
Then we
awesome
have-
woman.
Right?
Like,
Yes. Incredible. Then we had Beowulf Borat, who won Scenic Design of a Musical for New York, New York. Deservedly so.
so deserved.
The only design award that I got was scenic for both.
It is one of 2 for musicals that I got. But yes, I'm so happy. Beowulf Borat is my favorite set designer working on Broadway right now. He should have for last year gotten something because he designed like 4 shows last
He's
year,
done so
and they were
many.
all some of the most incredible sets I've ever seen. Kate seems shocked by my statement.
I don't know. He's not my favorite, but he's very good.
Wow.
But yeah, his work in New York, New York is incredible. I have no idea how they're going to tour that show.
what did he design last year?
New York, New York, Piano Lesson, Mike Birbiglia, and Ohio State Murders were his 4 shows last year.
Makes sense.
I love the snow curtain.
And then we had one of the most shocking awards of the night for sound design of a musical. The Tony went to Nevin Steinberg for Sweeney Todd.
Here's the thing. It's Tony Award for sound design of a musical if you pay $400 premium orchestra seats. Like, the sound design of Sweeney Todd was amazing when I sat in the orchestra in the very specific spot that I sat, which was 7th row on the aisle, like, which is where the Tony voters are sitting. So it does not surprise everyone who I've talked to who is shocked by it has seen it anywhere else in the theater. Where the Tony voters are sitting, the audio, the sound sounds amazing. The orchestra sounds so good.
Because for me, sound design isn't just the mixing, right? It's also the design.
Right.
And I don't remember any of the sound in Sweeney Todd. It was
I didn't have it.
unremarkable.
I did not have it winning either, but I'm just saying to its credit,
Yeah.
If you look
I'm
at where
sure-
they sit, it makes sense.
And it's hard for me to judge Sweeney Todd because like the only time I've seen it was first preview. And so sound is the last thing that usually gets locked because you can't mix sound properly without a full theater. But so I don't usually judge the mixing that hard, but the design itself, like I don't remember any specific design elements from Sweeney Todd sound. Whereas I can name you specific points in Anne Juliet
Yeah.
where there is, and granted, I saw Anne Juliet on Friday, so it's fresh. But that's a show where I can specifically say, this is design. This is sound design.
I left Friday like wanting to redo my entire thing to give everything to Anne Juliet. I was like,
Yeah,
the show's fucking
it was
like
it was a very good performance.
so brilliant. And like the orchestrations and the costumes, I was
Yeah.
like all in. I was all in on Anne Juliet for like 4 different things. And then I didn't anyway, but
It should have
And
won
speaking
something.
of costumes, for costume designer of a musical, we had Greg Barnes win for Some Like It Hot.
that was my official pick because I thought that's how they would go. But I wanted it to go to Anne Juliet.
Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
Angeliette probably should have won in my opinion, but I could tell that just who the Tony voters are.
That's
and
what I left with that was the main thing I left with from the performance. And I was like, have they not seen Anne Juliet? Look how good the costumes are. I didn't leave thinking the choreography was the best. I left thinking the costumes were fantastic.
My pick was Camelot. I would have liked Anne Juliet.
Yes.
For me, Some Like It Hot, the costumes like kind of look cheap. So I'm a little surprised that's what they went with. But
And then we have another shock of the night. We had a lighting design of a musical go to Natasha Kath.
I didn't have it, but I don't hate it. I think the lighting is beautiful.
yeah, I thought that was the least shocking of the shocks in
So,
design.
shock, yeah.
They lit up the oven. It was cool. There was like slats on the
Yeah.
floor. It was very moody. Plus
And
the
then
lighting,
now we have,
like you also
City on
have
Fire.
yeah,
the
and that performance sold me on the lighting.
yeah.
Yeah.
And all the times in that show that they disappear into the
It-
darkness, like that.
Again, if you liked the choreography in that number, you will like Sweeney Todd. It is a lot of that.
Yeah.
And we had leading actor in a play, which went to Sean Hayes for Goodnight Oscar. Not a surprise,
Not a
but I
surprise
did
at
see a
all.
lot of people surprised that it did not go to Stephen McKinley Henderson.
Interesting. I
Did they
feel like that would,
see Sean Hayes play Rhapsody in Blue?
I was like, I mean, that's the thing. Like it's unfortunate that in a category of 5 people, 4 of which are people of color, I went to the one white man. That being said, like he's so good in that show, it's hard for me
Yeah.
to throw a fit about it.
right.
We also unrelatedly got to watch it with Eric McCormick, who is also at Glass House.
Yeah.
And that was very exciting for
We
me.
did.
a Will Grace fan.
We all did.
Leading actress in a play went to Jodie Comer for Prima Facie. We finally learned how to say it.
Thank goodness.
What?
Thank goodness.
What do you mean we finally learned
Facie?
how to say it?
Well, she said it, and so that's how
I
I'm saying it
posted
now.
the playwright saying it 3 months ago. Spencer, where have you been?
Shout out. I just want to give a shout out to the self-taught go for your dreams actresses and actors in the world. Great job, Jodie Comer.
We love her. And it was so deserved. I was like, at the end, I was like, oh no, they're gonna go Jessica. And I really I don't dislike Jessica. I just was like, she's so famous. I was like, they're gonna go Jessica because she's so famous.
Featured actor in a play went to Brendan Uranowitz and Leopoldstadt.
Yeah, that was the only thing I wanted. That was the only thing I wanted Leopoldstadt to win.
Yes, and I was so happy for him.
Yes, me too. He deserves it. If they're going, I literally told like 4 people, I was like, extend parade and have Brandon do it.
Oh my God, he'd be so good.
Wouldn't he be so good at it? He'd be a perfect Leo.
Yes.
Then we had
Agreed.
featured actress in a play, which went to Miriam Silverman for The Sign at Sidney Brustein's Window. JT, I think you had some opinions about this one. Or not? Oh,
They
yeah.
weren't like nothing, no like hot takes. What did I say? Was I drunk? Did I say something mean?
No, I think you were just really angry. You screamed that you wanted Crystal Lucas Perry to win.
Oh yeah, I did. I wanted her to win really, really badly.
You should
I
know.
did too, but I do like I think Miriam has got a good story. She's like a professor at NYU. Like
Yeah.
this was not like a thing she was expecting 6 months ago. So I think it's kind of cool that she's like, I mean, she's in her 40s, she's a professor. She got this like gig to do this BAM show with Oscar Isaac and Rachel, and everyone, they rushed to Broadway so Oscar Isaac and Rachel could like win Tony Awards and
And now she's a NYU professor with a Tony.
right. Like that's a cool
It
story.
is a great story. And she is the best part of the play.
She is the best part of the
100%.
play. Her scene with Oscar is the best part of
Yeah.
the play.
Yeah.
I also think it's funny because she's the only Jewish person in the show and she's the anti-Semite in the show, which is hilarious.
Hey there, listeners. When the panel takes a quick intermission, I wanted to tell you about another Bloop Network podcast, Thrash and Treasure, where we torture the world's greatest artists with musicals, comedy, and heavy metal, even Tony Award winners. Here's a quick sneak peek with Tony Award winner Michael Cerveris.
Your embarrassing popcorn favorite that you've never wanted to admit. And remember, you are under oath.
I was a huge fan of the television series Nashville, which I started watching because I was a big fan of Friday Night Lights television series.
Jason Katims, yeah.
Yeah, and Connie Britton was, played the coach's wife in that, and I always thought she was just fantastic. And so she was in Nashville, so I watch it, and it's about as authentically about Nashville as any mainstream TV show is going to be, which is to say, not all that much, but I didn't care. It was just a great soap opera. There were great musicians in it and all of that, but it was, that was definitely a guilty pleasure passion of mine.
It's not really embarrassing, though. I'm a little bit disappointed. I was hoping for like the Spice Girls or something that's going to make the front cover of Playbill.
Look, I went to the opening day of the Spice Girls movie.
You and me both, Michael.
There you go.
You and me both. I was by myself at 11 or 12 years old, a little soon-to-be Game Boy. In denial, telling everyone, no, I'm straight. I love Jerry. I would kiss her, or whatever I was saying at bloody 12 years old, whenever it was.
I would brush her hair or whatever you do.
Yeah.
But see, I wasn't embarrassed about that. I was proud of the fact. In fact, it was we were doing Titanic on Broadway at the time, and David Constable, who was also in the show, he and I went to see it together. And when we got back, they were going to be in town. They were doing a concert tour, I'm sure, to promote the album.
Letterman.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I can tell you right now. I probably still have it on VHS, Michael. I probably still have it. Anyway, sorry.
We wrote a letter inviting them to come see Titanic and had the show's press department invite them to come see the show. As I also did myself with Morrissey when he was coming through town, and I would sort of do this. Nobody ever took us up on it, but but the invitation went out to the Spice Girls to come see Titanic on Broadway.
You can catch Thrash and Treasure on the Bloop Network, wherever you listen to podcasts. And now back to And the EGOT Goes To. And then we have Best Original Score. We had Janine Tesori and David Lindsay-Abaire win for Kimberly Akimbo. This made me so happy. Truly well deserved.
Yes.
And I do think it was the best original score of the year. So
I was rooting for Shucked, but I do love Kimberly Akimbo's score. They're both my favorite. So
yes,
either way.
I would not have been unhappy if Shucked did that.
To me, Shucked is the one that will last long. I really like Kimberly, but I just was looking at it from like Shucked is the thing, one that I think is like there are songs in Shucked we're going to see appear forever. Like they're going to be on every audition book, every 54 Below show. We're going to start hearing Shucked songs for the rest of all time.
Then we had Best Book, which also went to David Lindsay-Abaire for Kimberly Akimbo. Very,
Very happy about that.
David Lindsay-Abaire, who had not won any Tonys, and now has 2.
I hope more playwrights follow in his lead and start writing books for musicals, because there is a need for good books in musicals.
Yes.
Did he also do the
He did.
original
Yeah. Yeah, he wrote
play?
the play.
I mean, I think it's really a Tony for Shrek,
Yes,
but it's
also that.
fine.
Then we have best orchestrations. One of my wins that I wasn't happy about, but I'm
Yeah,
okay.
same.
Yeah.
Charlie Rosen and Brian Carter are two of the kindest people ever, and so I'm happy for both of them, but I do think that their orchestrations were the blandest of the season.
I agree. They all sound the same.
They all sound the same. They all sound
That was one though that after seeing Angelina on Friday, I was like, the orchestrations are so
yes.
So
and
good.
Bill
Good.
Sherman
Just
made
the,
it
the
again.
violins in Oops, I Did It Again.
right, like
Actually, is
so
Bill Sherman playing
good.
Tommy?
He better. I think so.
Oh yes, he has one for In the Heights.
Oh, yeah, makes sense. But yeah, no, literally, I was like, that was one that I didn't have in my list, and then after seeing it on Friday, I switched my pick to Angela because I was like, oh, so
They're
good.
just
One of my favorite wins of the night. We had best choreography, Casey Nicola, Some Like It Hot, truly well deserved. If you have not seen this show, first of all, see it just alone for a scene in the second act that I will not spoil, but you will know what I'm talking about as soon as you see it. It is one of the most incredible things I've ever seen on a stage in my entire life. So amazing. Casey Nicola.
Jay's song.
so
I
good.
agree. No, just kidding.
Well, yeah, but interestingly enough, though, this is Casey Nicola's first Tony for choreography.
That's wild. Well deserved though. So
I think, how many does he have? He won for direction for Book of Mormon, and this is only his second. And he won for choreography for Something Like Hot.
Yeah.
Spamalot, Drowsy, Chaperone,
He's been
Book of
nominated a
Mormon,
couple times, right?
Aladdin, Something Rotten, Mean Girls, Prom. He was all
I
truly
forgot.
well deserved. Amazing
I
choreography.
forgot.
Now we have leading actress in a musical went to the legendary Victoria Clark for Kimberly Akimbo. I'm so incredibly happy. This was the one
Yes.
award that I was just like, I need this to go to her.
that was the award I called at ATC because I have never seen anybody do what she did on that stage.
It was just so. And then for leading actor in a musical, we had Jay Harrison G win.
Whoop, whoop.
So
Perfect. Like
well
perfect.
deserved.
Woo!
It just in every way. I mean,
Yeah.
And their speech was
yes, I was very, very happy.
so good.
All of the acting awards I was happy with on Sunday night. I was not unhappy about any of the acting awards.
Me either. I was actually after act one, I was
Yes.
getting very, very nervous.
Yeah.
And then the
Yes.
Tonys one basically
The
exactly I won the
Leopold
film.
The design
costume
awards were
design
rough.
threw me off. And then I was worried.
I
for
know.
the
Oh, I
rest
literally
of
don't
the
I think
night.
yeah.
Yes. It was like Kimberly Akimbo winning score to Leopold winning costumes. It was the biggest
Yeah.
Can I tell you the biggest miss of the whole night to me? How did Life of Pi not bring their fucking
Right?
tiger?
That is my one.
Like, why do
I
you
missed
not
the
bring that
writers. The
tiger?
writers 100% would have written a bit between Milky White and Richard Parker. That would have happened, and it is the
I
one
hear they
thing
did.
that I missed.
Yeah.
Did you?
I've heard that.
I just if I
It
were
was
them, like I'm
supposed
like,
to
why you like have the tiger present? Like whatever they should have been like, we'll pay you $1 million. Let us have this fucking tiger present.
What?
Sorry, what did you say, Kate? I didn't hear you.
About
What did you say? I didn't hear
that
you. I'm
they were
sorry.
gonna do a bit with Richard Parker and it got cut because of the writers.
But that would have been so incredible to have Richard Parker and Milky
Oh.
White do something together. Yeah.
Yeah, have him eat Milky White and rip him in the pieces.
No. Traumatized.
And then now we have my two favorite wins of the night. We have featured actress in a musical going to Bonnie Milligan for Kimberly
Yes.
Akimbo.
Woohoo!
I'm
my
going
girl.
to freak out tonight during Better. It is going to be a life-changing experience.
I wish I was there.
And to transition, I will be freaking out during independently owned.
Our other win that
Sorry.
made me happy is featured actor in a musical.
When I go see Alex Newell sing
Um,
independently owned.
So incredible. All 4 of these winners. But yes, Alex Newell and Bonnie Milligan made me so happy. They are the 2 showstoppers of their shows.
And it was really fun to be at Glass House, which is like a famous spot of Alex's, and the staff is obsessed with them. And like just seeing everyone lose their mind was really, really fun.
Yeah, it was so good. It was surreal, and you could just feel their energy exuding through the television and their excitement, and you could just it was just,
And
so
now we
proud
have
of them.
direction of a play, which went to Patrick Marber for Leopoldstadt. Kate, all you.
How the heck do we go from the 2 best awards to the worst one of the night? So it's no secret I'm very upset about this award. And I think the reason being is that I think Leopoldstadt is a fine play that was horribly directed. And one of the things that I asked the internet, because I have a hot take that I think this was a stupid decision, and I volunteered to direct a production of Leopoldstadt so that I can show everyone why it was a stupid decision. But I did ask the internet, why do you think Leopoldstadt was well directed? And the best answer that anybody has been able to come up with is that despite there being such a large cast, it never felt like there was too many people on that stage. Like it felt like it was that the story flowed.
They're really good at spacing.
The spacing was good. The story flowed. It never felt like there was too much happening, despite there being a bunch of stuff happening, which I will give Patrick Marber that. But I thought that it was such a wasted opportunity with this show, because the show is such a poignant story that really shows you the passage of time in the essentially the start and after of the Holocaust. Spoiler alert for Leopoldstadt. I'm sure we all know what it is about by now.
It's about the Holocaust?
It's about Jews?
It is. And there's something so impactful about the way that Tom Stoppard wrote this play, and how it goes from the beginning scene of Jews celebrating Christmas to to the ending scene when there are only a few people on the stage. And that impact to me was not hit nearly as well as it could have been, because of the way specifically it was directed, and because the audience for the most part was spending so much time trying to figure out who was who on that stage, despite the aid from the costume design, which I guess the voters cared about, and that the scenes themselves took so long and started, like, it took the audience too long to realize what was happening, that it didn't have the impact that the show ultimately could have had. So that is why it makes me upset. And because we don't have a best production of a play, we have best writing. I think this was a no-brainer to give to Max Webster for Life of Pi, because Life of Pi got all the design awards, and so much of the staging had to do with the direction. So much of that ultimate vision of the design had to do with the direction. And of course, in my opinion, it should have gone to Stevie Walker Webb, but not enough people saw Ain't No Mo. But because we don't have best production of a play, we have best play, which is the Writers Award. I thought this would have been the one to give to Life of Pi, but it went to, in my opinion, the worst director of the bunch. No offense to Patrick Marber, who I'm sure is a great director, but this for me was a miss for him.
Well, and now we're getting the Leopoldstadt limited series directed by Patrick Marber. And so
he's also co-writing that, right?
Yes. Apparently he's a writer by trade. Like, that's what he does.
Yeah.
This was just I'm going to direct something.
Correct. And I don't think he was the right choice.
Yes. Now we have scenic design of a play, which went to Tim Hatley and Andre Golding for Life of Pi. Very happy about this win. This set is so cool. This show is so cool visually. I mean, it's undescribable what you see on that stage, all of the elements of it. Truly well deserved. I'm excited for the rest of the country to hopefully see this show. It is very unusual for a play to tour, and I've heard rumblings of a tour.
I think this show would tour very well.
Yes. Because
Very similar to Curious Incident of the Dog in the Night. I also think it's funny. Sorry, before we move on from scenic, I think it's funny. Going back to your Beowulf Boric comment, that Beowulf was like, we have all these painted sets, and then Life of Pi wins, which is basically a really cool set covered in the best projections on Broadway right now.
But it's also that contradiction that I think is really cool about this year's Toadies is we got the, painted physical sets, and then we got the modern projection based thing. And the fact that we can honor both of those mediums is something that was really cool about this year. But we had lighting design of a play that also went to Tim Lutkin for Life of Pi, and sound design of a play which went to Carolyn Downing for Life of
I'm not mad Life of Pi got those 2 awards, but I am surprised it got those 2 and not costumes.
And now we'll talk about that. My least favorite award of the night. I screamed, legitimately. I screamed. Ashley turned around. I was so angry. Leopoldstadt's costumes
Yeah,
suck.
this was not my.
They are so boring.
This is not a good start to my evening.
There's a
But the
fucking
color coding.
tiger. There's a tiger. It's a tiger. It's a zebra.
How is it
It's
possible?
a
The
How
kid
is it
was in a blue
possible?
outfit, and then the adult was in a blue outfit.
Oh my God. I would have been even okay with any of the other winners. It's just
I agree.
Leopold. I would have been okay with Goodnight Oscar, which is all suits.
I agree.
I'm so angry that Leopoldstadt won this. I think it is possibly, obviously I'm not a Tony voter, but I think it's possible that Tony voters were not informed that the costumes included the puppets.
I see that. I have a hard time believing, and I'm not a Tony voter. None of us are Tony voters. I feel like we research the Tonys way more than an actual Tony voter does, and so I'm sure we're biased. But they made such a big deal when that announcement came out that this was the first time that that puppets were included in costume design, and I'm sure in the packets the puppets were included in costume design that the Tony voters get. And so I find it hard to believe that they didn't realize, but
that is the
very
only
possible.
possible outcome though in my head, because
I
if
agree.
if they knew about it and picked Leopoldstadt, these people are crazy in the head and do not deserve to be Tony voters.
But the color coding. But Brandon Uranowitz aged up during the show. Wasn't that so cool?
The face, he looked older. See that he wore a jacket, he had glasses. Do you see the glasses? We knew he's old because he wore glasses.
But yeah, this award was shocking. But as I said at the end of the other night, the awards that made me happy more than made up for the awards that didn't make me happy.
I agree.
I totally agree. It was I can't remember the last time I was this happy coming out of a Tony's.
There's only two that made me upset, and they were both 3, and they're all Leopoldstadt.
And I will,
honestly, that's yes.
I will also say this is probably the most fun I've ever had watching the Tonys. And
Yeah,
through
it
the
was such a good
Tonys
time.
experience as well, getting to record this
It
with
was
all of
such a
you
vibe. That's
has been
so
much
much fun.
fun.
It's been
and
great.
We are going to hopefully get to do it again
And
next
that
year.
I had
award all
the
to
time of my
you.
But yeah, this was so much fun. And getting to watch it all together was also really great. And yeah, I'm really happy with this season. This
Yeah.
was a really great theater season for Broadway. And look, next season is shaping up to be a season with a lot of revivals.
I feel like we're gonna get a lot of new stuff. It's all figuring out where to go.
Yeah. Well, in terms of what we have opening, we have 12 shows announced for next season.
Yeah.
We have Grey House and Once Upon a One More Time, which both have started previews. Then we have Just for Us. We have Here Lies Love. We have The Cottage. We have Anthony Diaz is El Mago Pop for a week at the Barrymore. We have Back to the Future. We have The Shark is Broken. Melissa Etheridge, My Window. Merrily We Roll Along, Harmony, and Prayer for the French Republic.
There's a bunch
I'm
more
so
too, because
excited. This is a good
the
season.
Roundabout and MTC seasons.
Did
So
they?
like,
Oh yes. So they just haven't
This
announced
Is
dates.
Home, or This Is
So
It.
we have
Oh,
the
yeah, I
3
forgot about
shows
Roundabout.
at American Airlines that haven't announced dates. We have I Need That with Danny DeVito and his daughter. We
I
have
Need
Doubt,
This.
and we have Home.
Yeah, I need that.
We have Enemy of the People.
Yeah, they also haven't announced dates. We have Jaja's African hair braiding.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's everything that's announced. And then, of course, there's the other things that may or may not be happening. And look, we might get some city center transfers again. I would not be surprised if we get a Pal Joey transfer.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, those tickets went on sale today. Trying to decide if I want to grab one or if I'm going to get invited.
But yeah, so it'll be interesting. And also to see if we get Avita next season from
Oh yeah.
from ART, or if we get Tommy from Goodman.
The Goodman, yeah.
Those are both 2 high profile out of towns that are happening. I've also heard we might get Notebook, we might get Outsiders.
The Notebook, Outsiders, and Water for Elephants. So then we can see Ryan do all 3 shows at the same time.
Thanks for listening to And the EGOT Goes To. Join us when we start our Emmy Award season with our host for the Emmy Awards portion, JT Tranberg.